Are you afraid to ask questions at work? This mistake could be costing you career growth. You're probably afraid, like I was, because you don't want to look like you don't know what you're doing. And you're not alone. But the truth is that this could be the biggest mistake that is actually holding you back. In this video, I'm going to show you why this is normal, this fear is normal, how to overcome it, and how asking the right questions can actually make you look more confident and not less. Now, if you like quick win at work strategies from an expert that worked their way up from the stockroom floor to the boardroom table as a C-suite executive, hit that subscribe button right now and you'll get them in your inbox every week. So by the end of this video, you're going to know why smart people don't ask questions, the hidden cost of staying silent, and how to ask questions in a way that makes you look more competent and confident. So let's break it down. Are you ready to dive in? Why we fear asking questions. I want to tell you a story about Costco. Now, I spent 19 years at Costco. Loved that business experience. I started there when I was 29. Now, it was after I was married at the time. We had businesses that were in restaurants and catering. So going into Costco was a big change in environment for me. And I started off at the membership desk, but then I got a full-time role as the inventory auditor, so responsible for the shrink in the building. Now, I took that role knowing that there was probably things that I wasn't going to know. But the one thing that I would always do, no matter what, was I was willing to ask questions, because I knew that if I didn't do that, I didn't have this background or this education that I could rely on that was going to help me get promoted. So I start this job, I'm being trained, and the fellow that was training me, Renee, by the way, totally smart, excellent with numbers, great with a calculator. And I had a belief that, I got from school when someone in school said, well, you're not very good at math. And so did I know how to use a calculator? Well, of course I did. I could add and subtract on it, or multiply and divide. But I didn't know any of these other buttons where you could get percentages and stuff. And he started flipping through this calculator like this. And I thought, if I don't ask a question right now, I'm not going to have that tool to help me succeed. And so I said, hey, Renee, you obviously know what you're doing with that calculator, but I don't. Could we slow it down and maybe you show me a few of the key functions? Because that's going to help me be successful. And of course, inside I was feeling like, oh my God, what's he going to think? Because I don't know how to use the calculator properly. But I never let that fear, even when I didn't understand how fear worked, hold me back. So why does this fear pop up? Well, it does because you believe you should already know that answer. You believe that you should know everything. But more importantly, your brain, the most powerful computer on the planet, is wired to keep you safe. So when you go to do something new, which is ask a question about something you don't know, it's going to send out all these signals, fear, self-doubt, imposter syndrome, trying to keep you safe because it believes that that is the best thing for you. When in reality, the best thing for you is to actually ask that question. But here's the most important part. There's nothing wrong with you. This is completely normal. It happens to everyone. It happens to people who don't have education, to people who do have education, to people in roles that make a little bit of money, to people who in roles that make a lot of money, to people who run countries. I'm telling you, it happens to everyone. It's a function of being human. It's a common, normal human experience. So when this happens to you, remind yourself, oh, this is just my brain on change. I'm doing something different. And remind yourself that it's normal. There's nothing wrong with you. But what is the hidden cost? This is what I want to talk about, of you actually staying silent. So I don't ask how to use the computer, and then I fail when it comes to doing that job. I'm not making the right calculations because don't forget, back in the day, we couldn't use ChatGPT to figure it out. You're actually sending the wrong message. people are either going to think you don't care, so that's not good for career growth, or that you really don't know what you're doing. When you do, this is such a small piece. When you ask these questions, it's like getting a piece of the puzzle because you already are brilliant, but there are going to be things that you don't know. So if you stay silent, you're sending out the wrong message. So now let's talk about how can you ask the questions confidently. So remember, you're going to feel the fear. That's okay, right? You don't want to stay silent. That sends out the wrong message. And then you can say things, instead of saying, well, I don't know, or I don't know what you're talking about, right? Try this. Hey, I want to make sure that I fully understand. Can you give me some tips about what you're doing with this calculator? Because you're obviously really good at this. That's interesting how you came to that number, but how did you start? What was your thinking process? Or just to confirm what you were saying and then ask for a recap. So maybe it is that someone went too fast. And the difference is you're not saying, I don't know. It's about being engaged and being proactive. And people are going to recognize that. I promise you this, that I would rather have someone who asks me questions so they go out and get it done right the first time than someone who stays silent and they come back having wasted a bunch of time, not only theirs, but mine. Hear that point. So here's the thing. If you're watching this video and you're thinking, I really want to win at work, I want that next promotion or that next raise, you can grab and jump into my private coaching program. But first, because we want to see if we're a fit, down in the description of this video, there's a link to my calendar. Book a call. Let's see if there's a fit for us. No matter what, you're going to get something useful out of that call. Now, if you can do me a favor and down below, drop me a comment about when maybe you wanted to ask a question, but you were afraid to do so. And what was the result of this? And don't forget, if you like this video, please subscribe. But I want to remind you as my final message that you watching this are smart enough to do whatever it is that you want to do. Don't let your brain, which is running your operating system, override what you are here to do on this planet. Because I believe in you. I'll see you in the next video.